You know, one of the first big milestones when you're learning a new language is being able to talk about your daily life, your routines. Today, we're going to master a really simple but essential piece of Japanese grammar that lets you do exactly that, talk about how often you do things.
I mean, think about it. How often do you wash your hair, drink coffee, go to the store? These are the little details that make conversations real. And by the end of this, you're going to have a go-to formula to express all of it and sound totally natural doing it in Japanese.
Okay, so to build these kinds of sentences, you really only need two key pieces of vocabulary. It's like having two building blocks. First, we need to talk about a period of time, and second, we need to count how many times something happens within that time. Let's look at each one.
So the first piece of the puzzle is just the time frame. This could be one day, which is ichinichi, or, a whole week, isshukan, or even a month, which is ikkagetsu. This basically sets the container for our action.
And the second piece? Well, that's just counting how many times the action actually happens. We do this with a number plus the counter kai. So once is ikkai, twice is nikai, 3 times is sunkai, and you just keep going. Pretty simple, right? All right, so we've got our two building blocks, the period of time and how often something happens. Now, how do we actually glue them together to make a real sentence? Well, it all comes down to one tiny but super important particle. And here it is. This is the magic formula that pulls it all together. You take your period of time, you add the particle ni, then you say the frequency, and you finish it all off with the verb. The easiest way to think about ni here is that it basically means per. So it's just period per frequency. That's it. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's take that formula and plug it into some real-world sentences. I promise this is where it's all gonna click. Let's kick things off with a super practical one. I wash my hair 3 times a week. Now, even if you don't recognize all the words just yet, you can probably already start to see that familiar pattern taking shape, right? So, if we break this down, you can see that formula just perfectly in action. We start with the period, isshukan, 1 week. Then comes our little connector particle, ni. It's followed by the frequency, sankai, 3 times, and the whole sentence is finished off with the action itself, kami o araimasu, to wash my hair. See? It follows that rule exactly. Awesome. Let's try another one, just to make sure it sticks. He drinks coffee twice a day. The subject and the action are different, but I want you to look for that same core structure we just went over. And yep, if we look at the breakdown, you can see just how consistent this pattern is. The period is now ichinichi, 1 day, but right after it is our reliable particle ni. Then comes the frequency, nikai, or twice, followed by the action. The structure is absolutely identical. It's one of those things that, once you see it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. All right, one final example to really lock this in. She goes to the hospital 4 times a month. By now, you should be able to pretty much predict exactly how this sentence is put together. And breaking it down one last time, what do we see? The exact same pattern. The period, ikkagetsu, 1 month. Our particle, ni. The frequency, yonkai, 4 times. And then the action. The main thing to remember here is that this period plus ni plus frequency formula is your reliable tool for this kind of thing, no matter what you're talking about. So there you have it. We've seen the formula, we've walked through the examples, and now, honestly, the power is in your hands. You have the key to describe your own routines and make your Japanese sound that much more alive. So let's put it to the test. A little challenge for you right now. Using that pattern we just learned, how would you say, I watch movies once a month? Take a second and think about it. And here's a hint. The word for 1 month is ikkagetsu, and once is ikkai. How would you piece that together? And really, just like that, you've unlocked a super important pattern for adding all this cool detail and rhythm to your Japanese. You've officially moved beyond just saying what you do to describing how often you do it. And that is a huge step towards sounding more natural. So the next time you're describing your week, think about this structure. How are you going to use it to tell your own story?